being taken away by this bill that we're currently considering. The bill takes away the only authority the governors have to take specific steps and measures in their domains during an outbreak of an infectious disease. A situation where state governors do not have any power to make regulations in their states in the event of an outbreak of an infectious disease, or to declare any part of the state an infectious area, is not only inimical to the country's federalism, but also a recipe for disaster which cannot be managed by NCDC. So, the situation will pose a challenge if states need to urgently make regulations to control the further spread of an infectious disease where the president is yet to do so. And we've seen that in our current situation. The president, in the COVID-19 regulations, restricted movement in only 2 states, Lagos and Ogun, including the FCT. And this would have been chaotic had this bill been in existence before this current pandemic, because the existing legislation governing infectious diseases and curbing the spread thereof. The state governors, in exercise of the powers vested in them by the Quarantine Act, have all taken steps to issue executive orders, because that is provided for in the Quarantine Act, to ensure the control and the spread of the virus in each of their states, since the regulations made by the president did not extend to the other 34 states. The only time it did was when we now advised the president via the Presidential Task Force on interstate boundary lockdown, so that the spread of the diseases could be restricted as much as possible to areas where the pandemic epicenter was at the time. So for us, we believe that there are a number of provisions in the bill that must be reviewed, and we would crave the indulgence of the joint committee to look into this. I have spoken about the powers, for example, and the work that the Director General of the NCDC has been doing. But we think, at the level of governors, that this bill appears to vest overbearing discretionary powers on the Director General of the Nigerian Center for Disease Control. Anyone who has read it would know what I'm talking about. And that is without prejudice, as I said, to the role that the NCDC plays and the hard work of the current leadership. But we all know, as Democrats, that it is always dangerous to vest uncontrollable powers on any one person. The bill empowers the NCDC to perform certain acts which are directly in conflict with constitutional guarantees to fundamental human rights. For instance, while Section 6 mandates the compulsory testing of person on the mere suspicion of the Director General, Section 10(3) gives him express powers to use force to enter any premises without warrant. What is worse, the test in Section 6 will be at the expense of the person. So if you are forced to take a test, the individual is the one that must pay for the test, according to this bill, failing which he will be liable to stiff penalties. Section 15(3)(e) confers on the Director General of the NCDC the powers to authorize the destruction and disposal of any structure, goods, water supply, drainage, etc. Of course, I'm sure it is well intentioned, but it is discretionary power that could be used without any restraint. Similarly, Section 47(1) confers discretionary power on the Director General to order any person to undergo vaccination or other prophylaxis. Under Section 70, the Director General or his agents cannot be sued even if his suspicions turn out to be unfounded. Again, Section 71 of the bill absolves the DG, any health officer he might have sent, any port health officer, any police officer or any authorized person of any liability when acting in good faith and with reasonable care. We all now know what good faith and reasonable care means. We can all breathe, and we know that in another country, reasonable care could also, reasonable force could mean a force that eventually kills somebody. So I believe the Honorable House would need to pay attention to this, because the use of good faith and reasonable care is not only subjective but ambiguous with high potential for misuse. I can go on and on, but the important point to make, and we have submitted this memorandum to the Honorable House, is that this is a well-intentioned bill, and we believe that it could very well incorporate a number of other elements, and our recommendations are as follows. 1. Provisions along the lines of Section 8 of the Quarantine Act should be inserted in the bill to allow state governors and local government chairmen the power to declare a place to be an infectious area and to make regulations, so that that power does not just reside in the Director General of NCDC in Abuja. If the governor has a reasonable fear that an area deserves to be declared an infectious area, it should be possible for that governor in the state to do that without waiting for the concurrence or directive of the NCDC. It is the position of the NGF that powers beyond those granted by Section 8 of the Act should be conferred on the governor so as to strengthen the ability to act in this regard. State government should be given powers to establish state centers for disease control and appoint directors to work with the NCDC with states, but that is not legal, it's just administrative, and I think it's important for us to begin to do this in a legal manner without necessarily reinventing the wheel. The discretionary powers of the President and the Director General of the NCDC should be reviewed with the aim of spreading same among the authorities of the three tiers of government. This will ensure that everyone is adequately involved in the efforts to confront any outbreak of an infectious disease. 4. Provisions like Section 21(5) that are inconsistent with the Constitution should be expunged, and they are without more unlawful and cannot stand proper scrutiny. In any case, it is straight in law that the Constitution supersedes other regulations, and anything that is in conflict with it cannot stand. As we thank the Honorable Committee for this privilege to express our concerns and views on this matter, the Nigerian Governors Forum avails itself of the opportunity to renew to the Honorable Speaker and the House of Representatives the assurance of our highest consideration, and to also reassure you that we are constantly working with the NCDC and other experts in this area. We have a whole team in the Nigerian Governors Forum. Our health desk is full of experts, and we're willing to share them with the experts in the House of Representatives and the distinguished Senate Committee on Health, in order for us to come out with a much more robust law at the end of the day. I thank you for this opportunity on behalf of all my colleagues, and want to reassure you that we're partners for progress and for the deepening of this engagement and preparation against all future pandemics. Thank you. God bless you.